Okay, let's talk about everyone's favorite thing, 50-50 custody. Specifically, the kind of custody that you're going to get if you were the primary parent. You did all the work. You held everything together. And now that you guys are divorced and you were magnanimously granted 50-50 custody, you're supposed to smile politely while the other parent gets to take 50% of the time. And they get all those comments like, oh my gosh, they're such a good parent. If you're in a high conflict divorce and everyone keeps telling you it'll be fine, the kids are resilient, and you just want to fucking smash their head in, you're in the right place. And this video is for you. My name's Liv. I'm a parallel parenting coach. I deal with this every single day through myself, my partner, and my clients. And let me tell you, 50-50 custody does not mean 50-50 effort. So in this video, I'm going to walk through the hard truths about 50-50 custody that nobody fucking warns you about, especially if you are the primary parent. This is the stuff that no one is supposed to say out loud. And before anyone gets mad at me in the comments, this is not about blaming you, and it's not about excusing the bad behavior of the other parent. This is just about fucking reality, y'all. So if you're ready to stop gaslighting yourself and understand why this fucking hurts so much and learn how to get through it without wrecking your mental health or accidentally making things worse for your kids, stick around. And if it hits a little too close to home, subscribe. Okay, let's start with hard truth number one, because this one fucking stinks. There is nothing fair about 50-50. And listen, I will say divorce is not fair. The court system's not fair. High conflict co-parenting is not fair. Like, I mean, if you listen to me enough, you'll see there's a fucking trend. Nothing fucking fair, right? So in this, you did 99% of the work before y'all decided to get divorced. And now we get to call it a group project, right? Because your wonderfully toxic, narcissistic, high conflict ex knows your big secret. You actually want what's best for the kids. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to drag their feet on homework. They're going to forget practices, homework, games. And if you get upset about it, you're going to be overreacting. Somehow they're still never going to manage to, like, I don't know, cut the kids' hair or their nails or, I don't know, brush their teeth, whatever fucking drives you nuts. And they're going to miss important messages from teachers, coaches, doctors, whatever. And somehow it's going to be your fault. So let me tell you what you're going to do and how insanely unfair this is. You're going to carry the mental load. You're going to remember the school days off, spirit weeks, picture day, pajama day, theme day, field trips, the random half days nobody fucking warned you about. We're going to replace shoes, coats, backpack, winter gear because somehow they can't be found when they're at the other parent's house when it's time to come back to your house. And they all magically disappear and reappear in photos 2 weeks later. You're going to handle the doctor appointments, the dental visits, the therapy, the follow-ups, while the other parent gets to say, oh yeah, I didn't know about that, even though you fucking emailed them 3 times. You're going to make sure homework is done. You're going to make sure projects are started early and permission slips are signed, while the other parent gets to, like, do the fun parent shit. You're going to coordinate the childcare, the camps, the play dates, the birthday logistics. So not only is that crap going to happen, but in most high conflict situations, while you're stretching yourself overly thin, trying to cover up the things your co-parent never fucking did in the first place, now you're also going to have to deal with counter-parenting. So counter-parenting basically is a pattern where one parent consistently undermines, contradicts, and interferes with the other parent's rules and their efforts and their authority. And it's going to result in increased conflict, confusion, and stress for your child. So basically, counter-parenting is not co-parenting. It's not even parallel parenting. It is active sabotage with plausible deniability. So in addition to all that stuff we just talked about, which is just kind of like weaponized incompetence, they're going to start openly mocking rules or undoing them, telling the kids, oh, you don't have to listen to such and such rules while you're over there. They're going to intentionally forget to do homework just to start a conflict about it later. If they know that you don't like screen time, oh man, are they going to let those kids on screens and be like, I'm sorry, mommy didn't let you, or daddy just isn't as fun as me. Transitions are intentionally rough, late drop offs, early pickups, like anything to drive you insane. But the number one way that I see counterparenting most frequently is phone calls. They are going to be used to interrupt your fun vacation. They're going to be used to spy on you. They want to know where the fuck you are. They're going to use to destabilize you. The phone calls are not about the kids. The phone calls are about you. Isn't that fucking fun? So basically, the goal of the other parent is going to be winning by making your life harder. Number two, you have to let go of the need to control how your children are parented. And this one is brutal because it goes against every single fucking instinct you have as a good parent. But at some point, even though you were the one who did everything for these children, you have to accept you can no longer control their routines. You can't control their rules. You can't control screen times, bedtimes, what food they eat, how they're disciplined, what they're structured. Nothing. Not in the other house, not even a little. And if you try, your high conflict co-parent is going to absolutely torture you for caring. Because the second that they realize what you value, what you stress out about, what you think is important, they are going to do the opposite, not because it's good for the kids, but because it gets a reaction out of you. So suddenly, screen time's unlimited, bedtime's a suggestion, structure just fucking disappears, and you're told to relax and stop being controlling. The more you monitor, the more chaotic it's going to get. The more questions you ask, the less information you're going to get. The more you explain your concerns, the more you are dismissed. And eventually you're going to be faced with a choice that every single person in a high conflict co-parenting dynamic is faced with. You can spend your energy trying to manage a household that you do not live in, or you can build one, a calm, predictable, emotionally safe home that your kids can rely on. Because your job is no longer to control every single variable in your child's life. Your job is to be the regulated parent that they return home to. And once you stop trying to control what you fucking can't anyway, you stop feeding the dynamic that keeps you stuck. Moving on to number three, kind of like the last one, you got to let go of your desire to know what your children are doing 100% of the time. And this one messes with people a lot because, again, you were the primary parent and you knew what they ate, how they slept, what their mood was, who they were playing with, what went wrong and when, who fought with who's their best friend at school this week. And now, if it's not your time, you ain't going to know shit. And even if your co-parent did tell you, do you even trust them anymore? So you're not going to know. You're not going to get updates. You're not going to get context, and you are definitely not going to get your full story. And no, it doesn't mean that something bad's happening. It means you no longer have full visibility. And that loss, especially for those of us who are the primary parent, it's really fucking hard. So a lot of parents try to compensate with phone calls. And you're going to hear this. I hate phone calls. Some are going to try daily phone calls, multiple phone calls. I'm just checking in. I miss you call. But somehow those phone calls always leave everybody dysregulated. So here's the hard truth. Phone calls, when you are in a high conflict, 50-50 custody situation, cause more strife for your children and for you. They keep you emotionally tethered to the other household. I've had clients who arrange their entire day around when they are going to get a phone call. But not only are they stressful for you, they're also putting your kids in the middle of it. It interrupts their ability to settle. And it gives the other parent a way to stay in over your head because they probably get to control when those calls happen. So what feels like a connection is often just your way of managing your own anxiety. And the really hard truth is, and it's so fucking hard to accept, your kids feel it. When you call, they don't hear I love you. They hear that you're worried about them. They're not going to feel comforted. They're going to feel responsible for your emotions. And they're going to feel like, I have to talk to mommy or I have to talk to daddy because they need me. And that is not a good place for your kids to be. So eventually, you are going to have to accept this. You are not entitled to constant access. You're not entitled to full transparency, and trying to force either is going to cost you your peace. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just telling you the reality. I get it. This is hard fucking shit to hear. So your kids, they need space to live in both worlds without reporting back, choosing sides, or managing your anxiety. So letting go of knowing everything about them does not mean you have stopped caring. It means that you trust your presence when they're with you, and you trust that that matters more than knowing exactly what happened and what they ate for breakfast. All right, continuing with the shit that feels deeply fucking unfair. You are going to get the worst version of your children because you are the one that's doing everything right. You're stable, you're predictable, you're calm, and yet you're the one dealing with these insane meltdowns every time they fucking come back to your house. They're going to come back cranky, defiant, emotional, sometimes with fucking regressions or just completely insanely dysregulated. And it seems to happen every fucking time. And your first thought is, what the hell happened over there? But the actual truth is, and this is not a theory, this is data, it's actually about where they feel safe. It's not a failure. It's that you are the place where they feel comfortable enough to be who they really are. They hold it together in chaotic, unpredictable environments because they have to. They regulate with you because they can. So while the other parent gets the fun kid, the easy kid, the compliant kid who listens to directions, you get tears, anger, exhaustion, and just complete and total emotional spillover. Congratulations, you're the emotionally safe parent. And yeah, being the safe parent feels like a fucking punishment. All right, number 5, no parent prepares for this one because you're so busy worrying about grieving your divorce and grieving your relationship. You don't think about the fact that you're going to grieve your role as a primary parent because nothing on paper happened that was bad. You didn't lose your kids. You didn't disappear from their lives, but you still lost something. You lost being the one who knew everything, being the default, being the center of their daily world. And you're going to miss half of their lives, half the mornings, half the bedtime routines, half those ordinary, silly moments that just make your heart light up because you're watching your kids grow. And pretending it doesn't hurt just makes it worse. This is real grief. And for a lot of us who really were tortured in our marriage, this loss hurts way more than the grief of losing yourself as a spouse. And it's not jealousy. It's not selfishness. It's the loss of your role that you built your entire identity around, far more than a marriage. And that doesn't disappear overnight. Number 6, the one nobody wants to hear. You may accidentally make things worse if you stay emotionally dysregulated. And let me talk a little bit about this because you didn't cause this conflict. Almost all of this is going to be caused by your toxic ex, who was probably pretty emotionally abusive during your marriage. And for a lot of you, it's not just like high stress. You are a survivor of emotional trauma. Many people coming out of high conflict narcissistic relationships are dealing with some chronic hypervigilance, nervous system exhaustion, and many actually developed complex PTSD. And the hard truth is your nervous system still sets the temperature in your house. Even if you think you're hiding it really well, kids are fucking amazingly smart. They feel the tension, they feel the fear, They know you're scanning for danger. They can feel the emotional load and they don't need you to explain it. They just fucking absorb it. And here's where it gets even harder. Your high conflict co-parent very likely has already been telling that story about you, right? Smearing your name to high heaven. You're anxious, unstable, overreactive, controlling. You are the problem. So every time you spiral, interrogate, over-explain, or stay visibly dysregulated, even if it's for an understandable reason, you're feeding into the narrative that they've been building about you. And that's not because you're failing. It's because trauma narrows our window for tolerance. And regulation isn't like a personality trait that you're magically born with. It's a practice. And especially after emotional abuse, you have to work at it. So the work here isn't pretending you're fine. It is getting fucking support. Like, see a therapist. I don't know how else to say it. You got to get support. Get tools, read books, slow your reaction, figure out what works for you, and choosing over and over to not let chaos run your nervous system. So let's wrap this up. How do you deal with this heartbreaking truth, right? You stop trying to win the wrong game. Stop trying to make it fair. Stop trying to control the shit that you just cannot control. Stop trying to correct a parent who benefits from chaos. And instead, narrow your focus. Your job is no longer to manage your child's entire world. Your job is to manage yourself. And that's going to look like creating boundaries, predictable routines, lowering your expectations when your kids come home from that other parent's house, letting your kids land without questions or pressure, choosing calm even when it feels undeserved, and getting support for your own trauma instead of just white knuckling through it. And here's the part I really hope that you hear. Kids are not measuring your love by how much time you spend with them. They're measuring it by how safe they feel when they're with you. So here's the bottom line. 50-50 in high conflict divorce isn't about making things equal. It's not about making things fair. It's about making 50% of the time, your 50% of the time, stable. And if you're calm, consistent, emotionally available, even if it's only half the time, your kids are going to be okay. If this video hit, you're not alone. Check out other videos on this channel for more straight talk on high conflict custody drama, trauma recovery, and protecting your kids without losing yourself. And if you want real-time support, follow me on my socials at Unfuck Your Co-Parenting and subscribe if you're done pretending that this is easy and you're ready to do it in a way that actually works. And just remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be regulated.